So how often do I go to the doctor? Well, I go when I'm sick. But the truth is that my definition of sick is more of a definition of not getting better. I mean, I could start not feeling well and then not feel well for a day or so. But if I don't start improving on my own, then I know it's time for some kind of intervention. But as a rule, I tend not to like to take a lot of medications, and I tend not to like to go to the doctor a lot. I'm not one of those people that runs to the doctor frequently. Honestly, I believe in maintaining a high level of physical activity because that helps improve your immune system. I drink a lot of water, and that's not just hype. A lot of water does help flush your system. And those two things, plus drinking a fair amount of tea, that helps keep me healthy. And I don't go to the doctor that much because I really don't have to. When was the last time I went to the doctor? I guess about 6 months ago. I got some kind of infection in my leg and it just wouldn't go away, and it started to get redder and redder, and I knew what that meant. And I knew that there wasn't any alternative treatment that could help me fast enough. So it was time to go to the doctor for little old-fashioned antibiotics. In general, I don't like to overuse antibiotics, but in this particular case, I really kind of had to. So, what is an alternative lifestyle? To me, everyone else's lifestyle seems kind of alternative. I mean, I get up every morning about 4 o'clock and I go exercise. Usually it's a kayak around a little island around my house. You'll get to see it later. I cook most of my own food. I'm principally a whole foods vegan, although I'll try anything. I generally tend to stay more towards vegetables and more towards things that are grown around here. Luckily, there's a lot grown around here. But that's the way I eat, and that's the way I live. I exercise at least once a day, and I try to stay active, especially at lunchtime. I try to do something cool because I kind of get lethargic, everybody does. But I tend to move, and it tends to help. Do I live an alternative lifestyle? The way I see it, a lot of other people live alternative lifestyles, but my lifestyle's my own. So what does that mean? Well, I get up pretty early every morning, usually between 3:30 and 4, and I do about an hour of exercise. Is it vigorous? Not to me. Usually it's kayaking. When the weather holds up, I usually go and kayak around a little island that's by my house. You might even get a chance to see it later. What about how I eat? Well, I eat mostly vegetables, and I cook almost everything myself, and I eat almost no processed food. That's my lifestyle, and it's true to me. Is it important that everybody live that lifestyle? No, not really. Is it important that everybody start thinking more whole foods and eating better? Yeah, that might solve a lot of problems. Do I lead an alternative lifestyle? Gee, I don't know. I kind of think everyone else leads an alternative lifestyle. I think my lifestyle's pretty much true to me. I get up early every morning, sometime around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I do some exercise, usually kayaking, around a little island that's near my house. You might get to see it later. Then I tend to cook most of my own food, or my wife does, but I don't eat out much, and I don't eat a lot of processed foods. My diet tends to be mostly vegetables. In fact, I'm a vegetarian, really more of a vegan. But I'll try anything, especially once. So that means I'm not really eligible for the vegan membership card. But I do tend to stay mostly vegan, and that's my lifestyle. I eat mostly vegetables, and most of them are grown here locally. Luckily, I live in a place that grows a lot of really cool vegetables. So, is my lifestyle alternative? Maybe, but it's true to me. If I had a life-threatening illness, If I had a life-threatening illness, would I go to a medical doctor or alternative medicine? You know, I've had a life-threatening illness. I was just a couple of days from death about 6 years ago, and I had surgery, and it saved my life, and that was a good thing. I didn't really have time to seek out alternative medicine solutions. I guess if I had a little bit more time, I would have weighed all the options and did the best option for me. But I can't really answer that question, because if I were presented with the circumstances again, it would really be quite contextual, and I would have to do all the research. And once I had all the knowledge, then I make all the decisions that were right for me. If I had a life-threatening illness, would I seek alternative medicine solutions? Well, you know, I did have a life-threatening illness. I was about 2 hours from death about 7 years ago, and I ended up having surgery. I had peritonitis real bad, and I had a white count of 41,000. And what that meant was I was dying. And I didn't really have a lot of time to go seek out alternative medicine solutions. As a matter of fact, I really was a little delirious. But I guess if I had a life-threatening illness and I had time, it would be about making the best decision for me. Whether it be Western medicine or alternative medicine, it would be about making the right choice. And that would require getting all the best information. And some of that information might be just my intuition, and some might be from science. But either way, by the time I made that decision, I would be sure that it was the right decision for me. Western or alternative medicine, it doesn't really matter, as long as it feels right to me. Do I consider myself physically fit and healthy? Yeah. Do I have any bad habits? No, I really don't. I can't really think of any bad habits I have. You know, mostly everything I'm pretty socially acceptable. You know, excuse me. Wait a minute. In general, no bad habits. No, seriously. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to see that. It's my alter ego. It sometimes gets the best of me. Okay, so do I have any bad habits? Man, I gotta wash my hands. So, do I have any bad habits? You know, I'm sure I do. I leave the toilet seat up. I don't put the cap on the toothpaste. I tend to leave my dishes all over the place. But honestly, I don't smoke, I don't drink. I would like to cut down on the coffee a little bit. I tend to eat just whole vegetable-based foods. I tend to do pretty well on that side of things. Yeah, I'd have to say the coffee. Yeah, definitely the coffee. Do I have any fears or phobias? I like that question. At first I was a little afraid of it. I couldn't explain why, but I was. Do I have any fears or phobias? I'll tell you, if I have any fears or phobias, they haven't shown up yet. I don't... Do I have any fears or phobias? Well, you know, I mean, I don't have any fears that hold me back from doing what I want to do. And I don't think I have any phobias in the pathologic sense. But, fear sometimes drives us. I mean, it's not the absence of fear that's courage. It's the ability to sense the fear and deal with it. So do I have fears? Oh, sure. Sometimes when I'm really in high places, like rock climbing or even in an airplane, you feel a little on edge or outside your comfort zone. But if it doesn't stop you, then that's courage. So I sort of invite fear, but I don't. Do I have any fears or phobias? Well, I have fears, but I don't think I have phobias in sort of the pathological sense. I mean, I have fears, but I don't let them stop me from doing what I want to do. In fact, I think I heard it said once that courage is not the absence of fear, but it's the ability to sense the fear and do what you have to do anyway. I would have to say that that's what I have. When I sense fear, I try to acknowledge it, recognize it, and then move on. So I don't let my fears keep me from what I really want to accomplish. And sometimes my fears are pretty ordinary, and sometimes they're extraordinary. Do I have any fears or phobias? Well, I'm pretty sure I don't have any phobias in the pathological sense. And as far as my fears, oh yeah, I've got them. I can't think of any specific examples right now, but I mean, I do remember, let's say, being on the edge of a cliff as I was climbing, and as I looked down, be fearful for a moment. But, I once heard it said that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the ability to do what you need to do in the presence of fear. So I guess in my particular case, I think what I have developed is the ability to sense my fear, acknowledge it, and then move on from it.